For help.
Welcome to J Silver Presents, where we present the best in esports from your favorite players. I'm joined by Bwipo after their win versus 100 Thieves. Bwipo, thank you so much for chatting with me today.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me.
So, we were chatting a little bit. Last time we chatted was all the way back in January, and a lot has changed. You went to MSI, you did EWC, now you're qualifying for Worlds again. How does it feel to have so many of these great accomplishments happen this year, considering, like you said, last year you ended up taking a little bit of a break?
Yeah, I'm very grateful that I can still manage to qualify for these events and that I'm still able to put out good performances. At the end of the day, there was a point in my career where I almost took this for granted, and last year was a good reality check that this is really what I love doing, and I'm really grateful that FlyQuest gave me a chance to try again, and that I got to put up the results that they were also looking for.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. Let's talk a little bit about today's games. Renekton, Rumble, and Olaf. Obviously, I don't know if you saw the meme, but there's a meme with you and Renekton now.
I saw it, yeah.
Yeah. We know you're good at Renekton. You mentioned in some of the clips that they did that Renekton is a champion you're comfortable with, and that it helped you win the game versus C9.
Yeah.
What's the current state of the top lane meta looking like?
Honestly, I think Renekton's a pretty big deal. I think that ultimately you've got the meta broke into two halves of this champion beats Renekton and this champion doesn't beat Renekton. So Rumble, for example, was such a high priority champion because he had a good matchup into Renekton for a very long time. So when Rumble is out, he gets better. And then additionally, on top of that, Cassante is one of the tanks that can manage him the best, and that's basically most of the priority picks right now. Whereas, for example, Gnar traditionally was used in the past. People have leaned more towards Cassante as a neutral answer to him and tried to outscale him a little bit.
Yeah, and I know, for example, when you guys face off against Cloud9, Thanatos played the Gnar into that, and obviously we all know how that went. I think I think you beat him on that one because Renekton is.
I think we lane swapped, didn't we? Or did something crazy happen? Didn't it? Maybe we just.
Yeah, I think it was the lane swap, and then that was the game where you TP'd into the middle and just.
Yeah.
Ran over the whole team. I do want to ask about the Olaf though as well. I know we all know that that's a champion you love. Maybe that LEC, because you and Adam, I think, are some of the only people who played the Olaf whenever. What made you pull the Olaf out today?
Honestly, it's a champion that I've always looked at, especially into Renekton. I think he's always had a pretty good matchup into Renekton specifically. So I just try to make sure that I only use him in angles where he looks good. And enemy team had a Yasuo Zac comp on the 4-5, so it was pretty obvious that Ivern Olaf was going to be great, because when they dive into us with two short range AD carries, well, Senna's high range, but she's a healer now, so they have a short range AD with 3 melee bruisers. It's going to be a good time for Olaf.
Yeah, and then obviously we know that's going to get nerfed next patch, sadly.
True.
I do want to ask a little bit about just today's games. We won't touch too much on tomorrow's because obviously this will come out a little later. You and Sniper have had a little bit of a mini rivalry. You've joked multiple times about the paternity test. But in all fairness, Sniper is a player that is respected. You are a top laner that's very well respected. What is it like facing off against someone who's a little younger, but also just still is very well respected within the LCS?
Honestly, it's fun. It's nice to play against someone that's not afraid to take risks 1 versus 1, look for angles, try to make things happen. Keeps you on your toes. I think that's the most important part. In the first game, he was looking for solo kill angles, and I just kind of had to run away because I was weaker. And then third game, he tried again, and I was stronger that time, so I was able to take him out. But playing in someone that always is trying to look for ways to push any advantage at any given point in the game is always something I respect, and I think it's nice to have. I think at the end of the day, if people that are lower than you on the food chain don't really try to get ahead of you in any way, it becomes really easy to become complacent and weaker as a role in the whole region. And I think that having people like Sniper push you in his own way, where he's trying to squeeze advantages on you in the laning phase, and he's really looking for those really aggressive teleports to the bottom side and stuff like this. I think it's really nice to keep you on your tippy toes about should I match his TP? Should I let him all in me here? These kind of angles just keep you engaged with what is possible in the game, and not just with what you normally do and how you like to control the game. You have a different perspective, basically.
Definitely. Let's talk Worlds a little bit. You're going back home to Europe. Obviously, things have changed. You're now one of us. Even though we all know you're LEC at heart. What's it going to be like returning back to Europe and playing on basically home soil?
It's going to be interesting. I mean, I'm excited for it, 100%.
Yeah. As you can tell,
Yes.
maybe there's a little bit of noise, but continue.
It's fine, yeah. It's going to be really exciting to play back home. I love my career. I really do. I think I've been super blessed with support from all the European fans, and for me this is a good opportunity to give back some of the excitement that maybe they've missed. And in general, I really appreciate LEC for what they've done for me, and I really want the fans to be able to cheer for FlyQuest too, so hopefully we don't play against too many European teams so that we can just, celebrate two, because it's not just me, it's Inspired too, right?
Right.
Two of, Europe's best, be able to play, and, hopefully they can cheer for us is what I'm saying. Because, I hope that we don't play too many European teams and we're, enemies. I think that would be unfortunate. Obviously, I'll try to win. But
yeah, gotcha.
I really want to, I really want to go back to Europe and feel the support from the fans there again. Because here today, I felt really appreciated by the fans. And honestly, I think that's something that the fans in Europe always did super well for me. I always felt really supported and appreciated by the people that would show up to events, and I'm really grateful for that. So I'm looking forward to hopefully taking a victory lap around Berlin.
Yeah. Any team in particular you're looking to face off against?
Well, G2 took us out in EWC, but like I mentioned, I don't particularly want to play against G2 because they're European. That said, obviously it'd be nice for that sense. And then I'd really like to play at Top Esports again. I don't know if they've qualified, but I hope they have.
They have qualified, yes.
Well, fantastic. So I'd love to play 369. Obviously, he's my, he's my brother. I really respect him very much, and I actually really believe that he has a similar view of the game, and I think he's a really strong player, so I'd love to play them.
So I know this interview, like I said, will come out a little after your TL game, so we don't know how it's going to go, but you've something the broadcast said. This will be your fourth best of versus TL this split, or this year in general. What's your thoughts going into tomorrow's game?
I think playing my game is sufficient to win against TL, and I think that focusing on myself and making sure that I have a greater impact than impact is going to be crucial to getting wins against Team Liquid, because he's a very strong top laner, and I'm going to need to play my best game to make sure that he doesn't have more influence on the game than me.
You know how hard it is not to say impact on it, but it's a fun thing to try to do grammatically. One of the reasons I really wanted to interview you, as we wrap up the interview, you said something that struck to me pretty hard as someone with anxiety. You talked about you had a little shark that you showed on the.
I have him right here.
You have him right here. If you can show the.
Yes, I do. It's
yeah.
Emotional support shark.
It's the emotional support shark. One of my things that I've talked about in my own videos is mental health is very important. You've talked about your struggles with mental health, and you've talked about the emotional support. 2 questions. Number 1, how are you doing with all it's just mental health? And number 2, what's it like to serve an example as hey, I have this mental health illness that I'm working towards, and I want others to know that it's okay to feel this way.
The first part is really important in the sense that you need to know and be honest with yourself about what is an acceptable amount of output. You can't underplay what you're capable of and then pretend that that's fine. And I think a lot of people struggle with not doing enough, but also not knowing the difference between not doing enough and doing too much.
Right.
And I think it can be easy to feel like you're doing too much when you're not doing enough, and it can be easy to feel like the opposite, where you're doing way too much, but you feel like, I didn't do this and this and this. So just be honest, ask your peers, talk to people around you and ask hey, I'm doing this and this, is this sufficient? Am I doing my job well? Right? Am I doing what you requested of me well? I think that's step number 1. And then once you have a good grasp of what you're doing and what your output is, and whether or not everyone around you is satisfied with that, that's when you can really start working on yourself and being happy with that, because I
Right.
think that being happy with what you deliver to the table, that's the hardest part. So really, just make sure that, I mean, that's how I did it, right? That I
Right.
looked around myself first. Maybe the other way around is a healthier way to do it, but that's how I did it. And
No, I agree. I did the same thing.
yes, I think that makes the most sense for me. But at the same time, how I feel like everyone's human. Like whenever I talk to you right now, I don't, I'm just a guy that grew up in Belgium that loves playing video games at the end of the day. And as much as I have great achievements in competitive play of League of Legends, that doesn't define me. What defines me is the way I treat other people, and I believe that fundamentally. I think that it matters much more than whatever I have achieved playing this game. So I try to stay level-headed and make sure people know that I have my own struggles.
That's absolutely inspiring to hear. Lastly, FlyQuest fans, we're out in droves today. They'll be out in droves tomorrow. Anything you'd like to say to the fans?
Thank you so much for supporting me and FlyQuest. I really, really appreciate how people have come to warm up to FlyQuest a little bit throughout the year, and I think that people are getting to see a bit more of us has given them an opportunity to get to understand us a bit better, and I really appreciate that. So I really appreciate the fans for showing up, supporting us, and most of all, like, accepting us, because we had a bad MSI, we had the whole like villain thing and the whole like inspired Jensen drama and stuff, and at first people were like very upset about it or angry. That was the main reaction. But as the split's gone on and the year's gone on, people have started to appreciate us for some of the more wholesome aspects of our team, and also understanding that there's more to us than just the villain stuff.
All right, but that's all the questions I have. Bwipo, thank you so much for speaking with me. Best of luck tomorrow, and we're looking forward to seeing you at Worlds.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
In for help.